What's going on, guys? Glad you're back for another video, and today we're going to go over why I either choose AMSOIL or Mobil1 as the motor oil of choice as my own personal preference. Now, I'm not trying to be biased by being an AMSOIL dealer or, you know, downgrade Mobil1's, I guess, what would you call it, their quality or their motor oil, but I'm just going to give you kind of the proof is in the pudding reasons why I choose AMSOIL. Let's start to go over those. The reason I'm doing this video today is to share with you guys the difference between AMSOIL and Mobil1 full synthetic oils. I figured I'd do this just to give you guys insight about the two products and what I experienced in my GTR. After have driven the car with the Nissan motor oil, I switched over to the Mobil1 European Car Formula 0W40 about 3,000 miles after I had got the car, just so that I could have peace of mind that I changed the oil myself. At the time, I was trying to find AMSOIL, and I didn't really know how to get it to me in a timely enough fashion at the time that I wanted to do my oil change. So the Mobil1 is what I went with. After swapping over, one thing that I noticed in particular was a rougher idle and startup. I noticed this after the initial turnover with the fresh Mobil1 in it, and it still continued. It just felt like the engine block was chewing away at the internals. The pistons were just being scored. That's just what it sounded like to me. That would be the first thing that I've noticed with the Mobil1. It just didn't feel as sound and didn't feel as just like it was doing its job. Another thing with the Mobil1 was exhaust blow-by. I noticed that every time I would clean my car after a few short rides, whether it would be to the grocery store or just over to my parents' house, which is like 5 miles down the street, I would notice that my exhaust tips were caked in black soot. They weren't the typical pretty chrome that you would normally see. They were just covered in soot, and I didn't experience this until I swapped over to the Mobil1. So at that point I knew that it was the oil that I was getting blow-by from. It wasn't anything else, because I wasn't experiencing that condition in the past. That's just another thing that I noticed with the Mobil1. My oil temperature with the Mobil1, I did watch it after reading about AMSOIL. I knew in the future that I was going to go to AMSOIL, so I figured I'd regulate or just watch the temperatures with the Mobil1 just so I had a baseline to compare it with. With the Mobil1, I had roughly, I'd say 12 trips back and forth to work that I watched the oil temperature, and it was constantly right around 198, 199, but it would never jump past that. Now these were on really hot days in the summer, July in North Carolina, so the car was warm and I was sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic. I figured this would be the best time to do it, since that's when the car was experiencing the most beating, I guess, as far as just drivability. I don't really beat the car. I don't really plan to beat the car. I know that's how some say it should be driven, but I do get on it occasionally. I don't want to go to prison, for lack of better words. But my oil temps were constantly at 198, 199, anywhere in that range. So that was my baseline with the Mobil1. I didn't know if this was good or bad, because I really didn't pay attention to it in the past for the first 3,000 miles that I had the car. Later, you'll see what the AMSOIL did. So the AMSOIL, I noticed at turnover, or startup, whatever you would like to call it, the engine block seemed a lot more sound, a lot smoother. It felt like the oil was lubricating the engine properly. I did not get that with the Mobil1. Another thing with the AMSOIL was the blow-by. I kept track of this too. I wanted to make sure that I had a good comparison. Unfortunately, I do not have a photo when I had the Mobil1, but just take my word for it that the AMSOIL was significantly better. I'm going to roll a little clip here that kind of goes through what the exhaust tips look like after about 2 to 3 weeks of soot driving back and forth to work on the Mobil1. And to me, significantly less, probably a quarter of what it was with the Mobil1. The AMSOIL covers about 1/4 of the tip, where the Mobil1 was the entire inner diameter. The night that I changed over to the AMSOIL, I took it out on a quick ride, and at that time the temperature was lower, so my oil readings were about 20 degrees lower than the normal operating temperatures on the Mobil1. So I decided the next day that I'd take it to work because it was supposed to be as hot as it was when I was running the Mobil1, and I figured I would regulate and watch the temperature as I drove the car throughout the day. What I noticed was the oil temps were consistently 10 degrees or more lower than the AMSOIL was. I was reading about 186, 187, 188, back to 186, depending on if I was stopped in traffic or not. So I put a little clip in here of me pulling in the garage after just driving in 95-degree heat, just so you guys can see that I'm not lying about the temperature. So I'm going to roll the clip. Here you go, and we'll see you guys on the next reason. Most importantly, the AMSOIL prevented the low speed pre-ignition, pre-detonation, whatever you would like to call it. I can get on it now at a lower speed, and I don't have any issues with the knock and the revving. I do not have that issue. I don't have that issue, and I couldn't be happier. Because I'll be honest with you, I thought something was seriously wrong, and luckily it was just the oil. That's the only thing that I could think of being is the oil. There's no other reason, because I changed nothing with the car. I didn't do anything to it. No nothing. So those are all the things that I've found, and the proof to me is in the pudding. I can't argue the fact that I thought that the AMSOIL thing was a fluke. I thought it was way overpriced. I thought that, you know, why are people buying this? Oil is oil, there's not much to it. But after doing research and being a dealer, I found out that there's way more to oil than just being oil that most people think it is. There's molecular structure, there's this and that. There's an abundance of things, and later on in these videos we'll go through that just to give you guys an inside look of what I look at pretty much daily, having to deal with AMSOIL and their products. It's very insightful, and you can learn a lot of information by doing this. And it's crazy how much my knowledge of oil and synthetics has grown over that period of time. And needless to say, this is the way to go. I'm not even kidding. I won't put anything else in this car from now on, after the experience that I've had with it for the first, I think I've had it 3,000 miles right now on the AMSOIL, and I won't go to anything else now. I trust in the product. I enjoy being a dealer, and you just feel like you got something good. And 9 times out of 10, unless it's that one rare item, if you look at something and it looks like it's a quality product, it typically is. I hope that I did my job. I didn't want to read from a pamphlet. I didn't want to read the brochure. I just wanted to tell you what I felt of it, and I'm not gonna not tell you guys the truth. I'm gonna be real. I hate fake stuff. This is not fake. I wouldn't. If it was crap, I would tell you it's crap, and it's not. So just believe that. And all those reasons that I just gave you are justifiable by what I found. So get yourself some AMSOIL, give it a shot. You can use it pretty much in anything. Visit their site, visit my page, who knows. If you want some oil, find me and we'll get you hooked up. But until then, Please like, comment, share, subscribe, comment, do whatever you guys have to do. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and keep in mind we will be doing a free giveaway for whoever that 1,000th subscriber is. That is a tongue twister, I tell you what. But we will be doing that. I just need to get to 1,000. It will mean the world to me. So help me out. And let's get this freaking show going. Yeah! That was kind of intense. I probably shouldn't do that. Anyhow, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.